Hello everyone, we welcome you to Ufocom Radio Uganda. Thank you so much for listening in. Those of you that are following us by the use of our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, all we can say is thank you so very much. Thank you for loving us and thank you for keeping it locked here. We are coming to you straight from Uganda, of course, Ufocom Radio Uganda. And it's time for teenagers. It's time for our teenagers to air out their opinions, their views. It's such a wonderful show. This is so because we get to hear from the voices of young people, from the people that are walking in the shoes of being teenagers, from people that are coming from being, they're coming in from the transition of being young, we could say from childhood, and now they are there, between 13 to 19, they are teenagers. We get to know more about what's going on in their lives. We get to know more about what is it that they want to be done. They get to advocate on this very platform, that's the radio. So we greet you all, and all we can say is keep it locked here. Before we start, I just want us to do a round of introduction. Let's get to know about the people that we have in studio with me today.
Hello everyone, we welcome you to this talk show, and I'm Nabia Joan. We are going to start this talk show. We believe that by the end of it, everyone is going to be blessed.
Amen, amen. I can't wait to be blessed.
Yeah, our listeners, you are the very persons that we wish to serve, that we are happy to serve each and every day. We come here on Ufocom Radio. I'm Nabala Owen from Youth for Charity Missions International, and just look and keep it here on Ufocom Radio to get more about the teens.
Exactly.
Hello our listeners, my name is Tasalira Maria from Youth for Charity Missions International, and thank you for listening to us.
Thank you too for speaking to the people. Thank you. Me, myself here, I'm Racheal Ayo. Yes, all the way, Youth for Charity Missions. And yes, we are here once again. It's a brand new day. We hope you are keeping well. How are you doing? How is everything moving on that side? Here in Uganda, yeah, the Lord is still, He is still helping us, and He's going to do that forever. And we believe He's doing the same thing with you people there. We hope you are maintaining social distance. You are having on your face masks. We hope that you are using the sanitizers. We hope that you are doing all of that they told us, what came from the World Health Organization, and many more that I've not mentioned. Of course, there are many measures. I've just brought those, and as we go on, I'll be hinting on them. And today we have an interesting topic, that is sexuality education or sexual reproductive health rights education. What is the essence of such education in schools or at home? So many people shun away from that. When I say sexuality education, maybe you're there and you are wondering, what is it that they are going to give us? What is it that they are going to serve us? Remember, we are dealing with teenagers. We are not dealing with adults here. We are dealing with teenagers. And I like to say time and again that whatever information you pass on to a teenager, it needs to be age appropriate. It should fit within the age. There is no way we are going to send them into doing things that are dubious, things that are funny. So we have to make sure we keep it all in that rhythm. We make sure we give them content that fits their age, of course. So today we are going to talk about the essence of sexual education or sexual reproductive health rights education.
Yeah.
This has been advocated for in Uganda. Yes. But we still have some other institutions. We still have a group of people that, of course, don't side with us. They believe it's not important simply because they believe that the information we are going to give is not age appropriate, or they try to think of it on the other way. But this is an education that is essential. We are going to know why and how by listening to the teenagers themselves. Yes. This is not going to come from Racheal. It's going to come from Maria Owen. It's going to come from Joan. So just keep it locked here. You're going to get to know what is the essence of such education. As for me, when you ask me, what comes straight to my mind is when I talk about sexuality education, it is something that helps teenagers make free and informed choices. Yeah, it helps them make choices because, you know, this is what I'm supposed to do here, this is what I'm not supposed to do here, and this education is important. Yes. Whether they are sexually active or not, it is still important. It is not an education that is sending them to go out and practice sexual behaviors. But remember, teenagers right now are exposed. We live in the 21st century where teenagers have got phones. They have access to the internet. They can read whatever they want. They can get content that is, I could call it garbage, and what is not garbage. So there are others who have parents, whether you like it or not, it's the truth. Yeah. Children are exposed to pornographic material. You send your kid to school, you don't know what is going on, you don't know the friends, peer pressure, yes. You don't know the people they relate with even. Sometimes it doesn't even need to go to friends. At home, you have that beautiful TV set. Your kids watch things that are pornographic. You never know. Yeah. But this will never get any better if we don't step out as parents, as guardians, and we speak to them that such things are important and such are not. Yeah. I cannot exhaust it all, but yes. Trust me, you're going to get it from the children themselves. Remember, I talked about these children being in a period, a phase. They are transitioning. They need education. They need to know about biology. They need to know mathematics, but they also need to know about their bodies, reproductive health rights. They need to know what are the changes. Yes, so to kickstart off with that, I believe all these children advocate for such education. Yes. And I'm going to start with Maria. Maria, the ball is in your court. Please tell us, what do you know about sexual education, or what is the importance of such education? Remember, it is sexual, reproductive, health, all those.
Yes.
What is the importance of such education to you?
According to me, sexual education and reproductive health,
yes,
it helps us as teenagers to abstain and concentrate.
Yes.
Because that's why they say it's good for a parent to talk with the child. Yeah. You don't say that I fear this child. That's why the children who grows with the parents who talk with them, they grow in a good way. That's why they abstain from sex. Mm-hmm. And if a child is about to do something wrong, because sometimes our friends, they liars, can come and say, you should have a boyfriend, because also I have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any guidance, any counsel, so good, you are able to do something which is not good. But if you remember that my parents, they taught me that I should abstain and concentrate on my studies, that can help us to say my future is in front, so I have to concentrate on my books.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That is beautiful. So it helps you to actually concentrate because you are being taught. Yes. They tell you that if you involve yourself in such, you might end up getting infections. You might end up getting a disease. You are at a risk of getting pregnant. Parents out there, we are not trying to get against you, but these are children and they know everything.
Yes.
They know. We cannot hide it from them. There are parents who would rather such education comes from teachers. But also as a parent, as you go through COVID-19, as you go through this phase, you need to sit down with your children. Teach them, tell them to concentrate on their books. I like what she just said. She said the future has many beautiful things. Your education is in the future. It's tomorrow. Yes. So if you play about and you don't take such education important, you might fall prone. Or if we're still there and you're pregnant, this is a teenager. They are grown-ups already. They have that mentality. They understand. The people I'm seated with here, they understand. Yes. They just need guidance. They just need information. So, Maria, tell us, with such education, you think you're able to concentrate?
Yes.
And to overcome bad peer groups.
Yeah.
Why do you think some of your friends or some of the children out there, they advocate or they come and tell you that, you know what, I should find for you a boyfriend. You know what, you should get involved in drug abuse. You should do this. Why do you think other friends are like that? What is lacking in their lives?
Those children who are like that, who they don't give any good advice to their friends, are those children whom you find they don't have any counseling. Great. In their homes, their parents, they leave them to do anything which they want, which is not good. So they grow in a way which is not good. They don't mind for their future.
Yes, that is Maria advocating. Yes, that is it. Our dear listeners, we are talking about the essence of sexuality education or sexual reproductive health rights education in and out of school. And you've heard it from her. Yes. Those children who are that way, they advocate for maybe, let me say, early sex. They want you to have boyfriends. They want you to go into drug abuse. There are so many forms of exploitation for teenagers. But if at all you don't have a good background, you're not mentored, you're not guided and counseled rather,
yes,
things might happen negatively. Yes, Joanne?
To add on that,
Yes.
it also helps us to know about our bodies, that our bodies keep on changing. The way you were in when you were in P3 or when you were in 6 years, it is not going to be the same way when you are 15 years or 16 years. It helps us to know that our bodies keep on changing, and if they change, we should not say that, now I'm growing old. We should just be proud of it that we are keeping on growing.
Yes, that is interesting. That is interesting. I know there are subjects where they teach you growth and development, but it's not enough. You still need that education even in your house, even at home. You get to know about your bodies. You know, if it's adolescence, as a teenager, you're going to start to grow. Your body is going to develop. You will notice you have developed breasts. You notice sometimes for some teenagers they even grow a few beards. You notice there are changes in your body, and without this education you will never get to know. So are you trying to tell me that all these things you get them through sexual education, reproductive education?
Yeah, if your parents or your teachers sit with you, it will help you to know that when my breasts come, it is normal. When I start menstruation periods, it is normal. It is not new. Everyone undergoes that period. So you should just be proud of it when it comes.
So are you proud of yourself and the person you're going to become tomorrow?
Yes, I'm very proud of myself.
You don't have to shy away. They are teenagers. What is your message to those who shy away and they fear to grow? All the time they don't want to be associated as people who have grown up, to associate with people who are grown-ups. What's your message to them?
They should not shy away, because you will not be a baby all the time. You have to learn. You have to grow. You have also to become the mother of tomorrow, a father of tomorrow. So you should be proud of yourself that I'm growing. I have changed some stage. Now I have started. My breast has come. So I have grown. You have to be proud of yourself.
You have to be proud of your body.
Yes.
And all these things you get them in sexual education, reproductive, because you're knowing about, just as we hear, sexual reproductive health rights, all those things that are entailed in the study. You're knowing about your body. You're knowing about your rights. Yes, Owen?
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And now we are going to start, or I would like to start with the body changes, as she has said.
Yes.
We keep on growing. The body keeps on lying us. As you said in the beginning. The body, when it grows, it demands. So when we are not taught this education, because each and everything is in sexual, reproductive health and rights, the education, each and everything is there. They are people to counsel you through this. But today in Uganda, all over the world, many schools, many people, elderly, have abandoned this. But my issue is about the sexual rights. Sexual rights. This education, if you are taught or
so it helps you to be aware of your sexual rights.
You are aware of the sexual rights, either taught you by parents, or either by teachers, because there are certain parents or some parents that abandoned their responsibility about this education, that have left it for either teachers, because they think each and everything it is the teacher who knows about, or either to go with it. But parents, you have passed in this very issue. You have passed in this stage, and it is your time now to teach your very teenager, to teach your very child about how to go through it. Because now, as she said, the peers that bring to you can get a boyfriend now, you have grown. It is because of the parents of that very fella who comes and tells you it is now time. It is not time. Time is in the future. The right time is always in the future. So my
going back to sexuality education, rather to sexual rights,
parents need to pay attention to teach their children sexual rights, to talk with them, to sit down with them, share with them the little you know, and let them know.
So what are these sexual rights, Owen? Like, try to explain deeply for a parent who is listening, or me, and I don't understand when you say such education gives me knowledge about my sexual rights. you could give an example, or you could just break it down for us. Let us know, what do you mean when you say sexual rights for a teenager?
Sexual rights are the rights that a teenager has to know him or herself. Because during this very rate, also here as I'm speaking, I've been taught, and they know now how to go through it, how to face it. I cannot either do the opposite that has been taught to me. So all to the teens, to the parents that are listening to me, you need sexual rights, or you need sexual reproductive health rights to all of you, because they are helpful to all of you. And to
they need to know of them, so they pass them on to the teenagers. Okay, just to add on to what Owen has said, that's beautiful. Just to add on, there are some examples, or there are some instances where you find that, of course, as a teenager, you have your own rights. And you have your own rights that you walk in. You know, this is to a universal standard. I have my liberty. I'm entitled to freedom.
Yes.
Of course, yes. Now that Owen has brought it in a segment of sexual rights, you know, like there are many forms of sexual abuse. It's not only defilement, it's not only rape, but there are many forms. Sometimes it can be someone touching your body parts, your private parts, someone speaking to you vulgar words. All of that is abuse. All of that is abuse. So a child has a right. A child has a right, or a say. They should not be exploited sexually. They shouldn't be touched in ways that are not good, ways that are not clear, ways that are vulgar. They are not supposed to be subjected to some of the languages that people speak out. So that is just to expound on what Owen is saying. A child has a right to know of their sexual rights, and the first one, they should not be abused sexually. They should not. They are above that. They should not be exploited sexually. They should not be beaten or tortured or battered, all of that. But I'm centering around sexual rights, like Owen said. A child has rights over all of that. Yes, Maria, let us know what other rights, or what's the essence of these rights, this education.
As I said, that reproductive education, sexual education and reproductive health, it has really helped us, because it has helped us in counseling and guidance. Because if it's good if you stay with a parent, as we said, who counsels you that if you do this, it's bad. That if you abstain from sex, it is good, because that's your future, and you will face good things in the future. Because if you get pregnant below the age, or before you get married, it's not good. There are only problems. So it helps us to be there when you are counseled that if I do this, it is bad. My mother or any elder or guardian, when told you of something, you always remember that they counseled me this, told me I should not do this, I should do this. And you be careful of anything you do about sex or sexual rights.
Yes, okay, that's beautiful. So Maria, I like what you just said. It's more like counseling and guidance. Let a parent know, a parent that is out there, or even a teenager, what is the negative impact, or what's the problem of getting pregnant or becoming pregnant when you're still in school. You could give us about 1 or 2 points.
The first point is, if you get pregnant before you get married, or when you are still a teenager, it's not good. You face problems like, sometimes even you may want to abort, and it may cause death to you or to your life. Sometimes you lack parental care, or even the boy can run away, because for him has nothing but you. He leaves you with pregnancy.
So you also know of those things where a boy can run away. Wow, that's interesting. I told you I have here a very beautiful panel. You hear that's actually a teenager saying that a boy can run away. So as a teenager, you should not make sure you put yourself in such situations. Remember, your dreams, they are going to crash. They are going to crash, obviously. Like she said, the person can run away. It's not a guarantee that that person is going to be there. And remember, it's a phase that you're going through. You're not going to be a teenager forever. Tomorrow, you're going to grow up and you need to become a doctor. You need to become a doctor, you need to become a surgeon, you need to become, name them all those professions. You cannot get there if sometimes if your dreams are crushed, because now you find that you cannot afford to take care of a baby and yourself. You have to put priority, take one. Sometimes even parental negligence, your parents can neglect you. Here in Africa, sometimes that happens. So I love that. I really love. Yes, Joanne. What is the importance of such education?
This education also helps us to know how to behave when we are in adolescence. Many teenagers, when they grow, let me give an example. A boy, when the voice becomes deep, you say, now I'm old, I'm like my dad. Or when a girl, the breasts come, she can say, now I'm like my mom. So I'm not going to listen to them, but because now
I'm also big, I'm also old now.
I look like them. But this education helps us to teach us that even though those things come, you should remain humble. You should just remain humble because you are still young. The other people, they are older than you, and this is just a stage which you are passing through, and you are going to go through it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. It is one where it teaches you how to behave as a teenager. You need to know, when we talk about sexuality education as a parent out there, it's not just as you might think. Maybe we are disseminating sexual education. No, it has got so many things. Like I said earlier on, I said sexual, what to do and what not to do to a teenager. Reproductive, their body organs, how they develop, that answer has been given out. So that is sexual reproductive. Health, how healthy they are supposed to be. Hygiene, rights, general universal rights that are recognized everywhere. Such education is good. It is very, very good. From what Joanne has just said, you get to know how to behave as a teenager. Your voice has become deep. You've noticed you have breasts. You've noticed that now there are changes in your body. This is how you're supposed to behave. You're not supposed to behave like you're mad, like you are above everyone, like you're crazy. There are some children who actually reach that stage of puberty, and they are almost, I don't want to say they almost want to lose their minds. They think they are above. Remember, they are exposed. Being a teenager is something delicate. Our dear our parents listening in, it is something delicate. We need to handle it with care. If at all you don't groom your child, they can lose it. Owen, another essence, another importance.
Another essence is about health basics. In this education. Remember, the girls, you are going through menstruation in this very period or this age bracket of teenage. So they are health basics that are taught actually in this education. You have to know that right now in the stage I'm in, I have to keep myself clean. I have to know how to go out through doors like UTIs, because during this time
that is for both girls and boys. You'll not so either out as you used. You instead go in the urinal, either in the toilet, to ease yourself. So that means in those very places, if they are dirty, you will get those infections. This education brings out the basic health wise that you could or that you take to either control these infections if they may come to you during that very time. So it is so important to all of the teens, either boys or girls. That is very beautiful. You get to know about the UTIs, urinary tract infections. You get to know about STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. They are infections. They are risks, things that you might get when you involve yourself in, maybe let's say, early sex. We might not only center around sex, but also there are things like drug abuse. That is also something that affects young people, teenagers. But if at all you have such education, you prioritize your health. You know, if I involve in drug abuse, I might get cancer. I will damage my liver. I will damage my internal organs. Such education is important. Parents, if you're not giving your children such education, there is something they are missing out on. You're supposed to sit down with them and tell them all these things. Don't think it's only for teachers. Don't be shy to discuss with your kids such things. Don't be shy to tell them you're supposed to keep smart, shave hair, trim the hair. Don't be shy to tell them You're supposed to bathe 3 times a day. You're supposed to bathe 2 times. You're supposed to change undergarments, whatever it is. All of that lies in such education.
Yes.
You should tell them you should not involve in early sex. Yes. You could get pregnant. You get an infection. Who knows? It can be deadly. Yes. HIV or AIDS. All of that. All of those diseases, they are deadly. In such a time, COVID-19, where schools are locked down, parents, we call upon you to use such a time to talk to children, to mentor them about sexuality, about their health, like Owen said, health basics. There are things you might not know. They might not tell you in class sometimes. But if you keep hearing it, like Maria said, you hear it at home. If you are at one point tempted, you will remember and say, my mother told me this. My guardian told me this.
Yes.
So it is important. Ufocom Radio Uganda, thank you so much. Those of you that are following us by the use of our social media handles, thank you. Those of you that are tuned into the radio, thank you. Youth voices, actually teenage voices, because I'm with teenagers in the house and they're the best people to air out their opinions and views. Today we are looking at the importance of sexuality education or sexual reproductive health rights education. And we have listened in. They have been telling us what they learn, how they go about it. They have been telling us they get exposed to knowledge about their health. They get to make informed choices. And such education does not mean it's going to send you out to practice these things. It helps you to have knowledge, backup knowledge, things that you fall back to and you say, I know this could come out, so I must concentrate on my books, like our sister told us. So yeah, going back again, Joan, let us know more about the importance of such education.
There is also a point of self-esteem.
Yes.
That you come to believe in yourself. That even though these breasts come, some girls, they shy away. You find them tying a sweater in the neck because of the breast they fear. When you go in the menstruation periods, you will not come out of the room. You lock yourself
in the room for almost the whole day.
Because you are not comfortable. But this is all normal, and this education helps us to believe in ourselves, to know that this is just time and we are just going to pass it through and it will come to an end.
Yes. That is interesting. This is just a phase. It's just a season. So you should be proud of your bodies. You should be proud of the changes that you notice. You should actually be bold enough or confident enough. Those are your rights. Yes, Owen.
Teens are informed of their rights. Remember, they are taught. So they come to know sexual rights. They know them. They are being extended to this education. They come to know, because when you are being taught and counseled by someone, it will give you a chance to speak out what is really on your heart. What advice do you want that very person to come? So they end up practicing the right to speech. They are informed of their speech, their rights.
Yes.
Each and every time when they teach them, when they talk to them about this education. So each and every time that they get to hear about this, their rights are being always told to them or passed to them.
So they know their rights. You know, through such education, you know, you have a right to feed, a right to play, you have a right to associate, get free, like parental love, to have access to basic needs, all of that. Such rights you get to know. Yes, Maria, the last
one which I have is there should be a gap between the child and the parent.
It builds a gap between the parents and children.
The child.
Yes.
Yeah, because if there is no the gap or which a parent should create between her or him with the child, those are the children whom you find who has friends and just counsels him or her that we should get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, because they don't have any guidance and counsel, and there is no any gap. The parent can wake up and goes and do her things or his things, doesn't mind about counseling or telling anything about the child, because says is growing or is grown up, knows anything or knows everything, and that is not true. That this stage we need to be counseled so that we abstain from everything which is not good.
So
this builds up the gap between our parents. This education helps us to build a gap
between you and your parents, you and your teachers. That's interesting. We hope that you have actually picked a leaf or two. Such education helps to build a gap between you and your parents, you and your guardians, and in so doing, self-esteem will develop, confidence will develop. You find yourself sharing with your parent freely on what you go through. That has been it on the Teenage Voices. Thank you so much for keeping it here. We love you all, and all we can say is stay blessed. May the peace of the Lord cover you up in all that you do. Amen.